Hi, and welcome to GENO'S Picks, brought to you again by the good people at the SBR Forum. Can't thank them enough, because ever since they hopped on board last week, we are on fire. 4-1 last week, people. That's right, we're 60% the past 2 weeks. You can't wait to bet on us, and if you can't, go to the forum. Check out my buddy Godsmack, who went 7-1-1 last week. Yeah, there's no reason not to win money over at the forum. So let's get to the picks, but first, you know what really grinds my gears? The idiots at ABC and ESPN who didn't play Hank Williams, are you ready for some football this week, because he said Obama was Hitler. No, he didn't. But this is how we get in Uptight America. Hank Williams Jr. made the mistake of saying a Democrat and Republican, Obama and Bonner golfing together, would be like Hitler golfing with Netanyahu, or however you say it. He compared a Democrat and Republican golfing together to that of a Nazi and a Jew golfing together, which could never happen, right? Because neither one would pay for the Jews' round. People, lighten up. He's just kidding around. He always gets stuff confused. One thing he never got confused, Jack Daniels and Jim Beam. He knows where they go, right in the liver. People, let's get to the picks. My first pick, the Cardinals are getting 3 from the Vikings in Minnesota. People, am I right? This is the Minnesota Vikings, right? The winless 0-4 Minnesota Vikings, right? The ones that not only lost to a winless team last week, but for the 4th straight week, that's every game this season, blew a second-half lead. They stink. It's time to quit on Donovan McNabb. And the Cardinals should have won last week. They got screwed. They beat the Giants, and they got screwed on that terrible call by the refs where they said Victor Cruz gave himself up. Really? You think if he picked up that ball and ran 15 more yards, they wouldn't have given it to him? They would have. The NFL is stupid with the replay. I don't even have time to get into that. But people, let's face it. The Vikings aren't a good team, and they have 2 choices. They can either bench McNabb and let the Christian Ponda era begin this year, or they can keep starting McNabb and let the Andrew Luck era start next year. People, Donovan McNabb isn't good anymore. The Vikings aren't going to cover this bet. There's a reason the last time the Vikings were laying anything, their quarterback was Dante Culpepper, and they were on a boat. People, take the Cardinals and the 3. My next pick, the Raiders are getting 6 from the Texans in Houston. Yes, the Texans are very good, but everyone knows the Raiders are going to win the AFC West. Isn't that what Hugh Jackson said? Look, I know the Texans are good, and I saw they did what a good team did. They bounced back, and they beat a good team, allegedly, in the Steelers this past Sunday. But at what cost? They lost Andre Johnson. And without Andre Johnson in that game, they only managed to put up 1 more touchdown on a long run by Arian Foster. And they had 2 touchdowns negated on mental mistakes. This team is not ready to blow anybody out. And I'm telling you, Matt Schaub has not thrilled me with the numbers he's been putting up. You think he's going to put up better numbers without Andre Johnson? I don't think so. Raiders defense is a lot faster, and they're always hard to blow out because they have a little guy named Sebastian Janikowski who will kick the ball from anywhere on the field. In fact, when you're watching a Raiders game, the only place on Sunday you're going to see more balls being kicked is on America's Funniest Videos. Yeah, they always show them getting kicked in the groin. Anyway, you'll be kicking yourself in the groin if you don't take the Raiders and the 6. My next pick, the Jets are getting 9 against the Patriots in New England. 9 points doesn't seem like a lot, right? Especially the way the Jets played this past Sunday night, because Mark Sanchez is terrible. He is. We know it. It's not like anyone was shocked by his numbers. In fact, his 31% completion rating was only about 15% below what he's been all year. But still, there's something about divisional games between the Patriots and the Jets. And Bill Belichick doesn't care about blowing anyone out in October. He doesn't. He just wants to play. The problem with the Jets is they have a lot of talent, and they just can't get the ball to a guy named Plaxico Burress. Because by the time Plaxico gets in the game, they put 5 people on him. Because Sean Green isn't running the ball well, and Santonio Holmes doesn't seem to be able to get passes from the horrible Mark Sanchez. People, having a guy like Plaxico on your team is like having a really good porno on VHS. Yeah, exciting to watch, but you got nowhere to stick it. Doesn't matter. Tight game. Take the Jets and the 9. Which brings me to my lock of the week. Yeah, there's no end to those pictures. We love them. The Chargers are giving 4 to the Broncos in Denver. Yes, I know last week was the first time the Chargers covered all season. But you know what? It's October. October's a lot better for the Chargers than September. And the fact is they're playing the Denver Broncos, who absolutely stink. Their offense is pathetic. Let's face it. We said it at the beginning of the year. Kyle Orton is not a winning quarterback. He puts up great numbers if he is on your fantasy team, but that's because he's so bad they're always losing against the prevent defense. And their running game, Sean Moreno lost his starting job to Willis McGahee, whose knees have been reconstructed more times than Joan Rivers' face. And the worst of it all, the Broncos' leading scorer is a white guy. Yeah, Eric Decker. People, being an NFL team is like being a Kardashian sister. Only the desperate ones score with white dudes. Okay? People, look, Chargers are going to win this game, and the Broncos are going to suck it up. Take the Chargers, lay the 4. Which brings me to my Double Your Money Monday Night Bet, or as I like to call it, I didn't need this stuff anyway. All right, look, the Bears are getting 5.5, a lot of underdogs this week, against the Lions in Detroit. Yes, the Lions have won every game this year, but the last 2 games they won against teams that imploded. The Cowboys and the Vikings. And you really think they're going to blow out a division foe in the Chicago Bears? So I got to admit, their offense finally looks really good. And what has Matt Stafford, who, don't get me wrong, I wish him well, I hope he stays healthy. What has he really shown us all year? That his throwing motion consists of 2 things. Lobbing up jump balls to 6'5" Brandon Pettigrew and Calvin Johnson, right? And dumping it sideways to Javid Best. People, if he didn't have 6'5" receivers, Stafford would be an average quarterback at best with a throwing motion that's a lot like Casey Anthony's testimony. Yeah, terribly inaccurate and coming far too late. And I'll tell you something, people. If you bet Detroit, a lot like Casey Anthony, you're going to be saying, I think we're dead, baby. Yeah, we would have used Amanda Knox, but she's just not as hot. All right, that's it, people. Take the Bears. Those are Geno's picks.